All right. Welcome back to my channel. How are you all doing? I hope all is well with you. Now, I've said this before, I'm gonna say it again. The problem, the insecurity, the terrorists, present and banditry, and all this nonsense is not tied on Fulani people alone. This is a global plan, a global tricks or strategy to spread Islam across that part of the world. Only few people understand this. Only few people. Some of you have watched video of private jets or war jet or private jet, as case may be, dropping something for bandits and terrorists in the bush. Who do you think is the pilot? Arabians, people from Arab world. I cannot tell you the country because I don't know. But sometimes they look like Lebanese, sometimes they look like Turkish. So it depends. I don't know. But all I can tell you is that they are not from Africa, let alone being a Nigerian or even a Fulani. So this is a global strategy to spread Islam. Now, do I hate Muslim as a religion? No. Do I like them? No. What do I mean by that? I don't care what if you are practicing it, I don't have any issue with you. But do it in your own region. Like keep it for yourself, your own part. Don't bring it to me. That's the problem. Don't give it to people who don't. I have already made up my choice that I'm a Christian. This is who I am. And I am proud of that. You are proud of your own religion, no problem. Practice that in your own region. Allow me to do what I want to do and don't dictate for me. Now, if you want us to stay in one country, which is not possible, we have to talk about it. Okay? Now the time has come and gone. There's nothing to talk about here. What am I trying to say? As I'm seeing some videos, foreigners trying to advise Christians and Igbo people. I'm surprised. But not that I'm shocked to see that this kind of video, but it's part of what I'm talking about. Some people want to dictate for you, want you to feel like with that what you practicing what you are practicing is actually funny to them. They don't believe you. They don't think that what you are doing is what you're supposed to do. This account called Yusuf. Okay, his name is Yusuf, but because he's living in America or in the Western world, and he have to modernize Yusuf as Yusuf. I don't think there's any name like that in Quran or in Islam. But please, if you're Muslim and there's a name like this name is different from Yusuf, let me know. But that's the story of another though. He said to all Christians of Nigeria and the Igbo, he emphasized that. Listen, to all Christians and Igbo, to all Christians of Nigeria and Igbo, because when you talk about Igbo, you're talking about Christianity. When you talk about Christianity, you're talking about Igbo. This is what they know this. And the Fulani have reported to them that you guys, Igbo people, are the problem. That this conquest would have happened smoothly without any interference. That's why when I see some Yoruba people attacking Igbo people, even though you're a traditionalist, you're a traditionalist and you are not actually a Muslim, you are not even a Christian, but like Sheikh Kuti, who is attacking Muslim and Christians simultaneously because he's a traditionalist. It's okay. But when you pretend not to see the danger from the Muslim part of the whole thing, it makes me feel like you are also a suspect. You're also another enabler of terrorists. Like you are literally supporting it, thinking that you are thinking in a different direction. What Muslims want, what others terrorists want is to just keep quiet, allow us to dictate for you, and until we conquer you before we now announce it in your present. They don't want you to think outside the box. The moment you start thinking outside the box is the problem. The problem they're having with Igbo people as a race is their ability to think outside the box. Now, he said, To all the Christians of Nigeria and the Igbo who think splitting Nigeria into two will make you richer, this is for you. Now let's listen to that. Here is this guy. Now watch.
We'll get rich.
No.
They'll split Nigeria up in two. If we just give Israel what it wants, then Uncle Sam come here and take our resources. We'll get rich. They'll split Nigeria.
Start from beginning.
Just give Israel what it wants. Then Uncle Sam come here and take our resources. We'll get rich. They'll split Nigeria up in two pieces. We in the South get all rich, do better, and everything will be great. That's what you're thinking. But history has another opinion. Every time you give the West or Israel what it wants, you don't get richer. You get a whole lot poorer. You want some examples? Okay. Look at Egypt. We signed the King David Accords. And what happens? Compare Egypt now, Egypt 40 years ago. Egypt's literally 10 times poorer. The Egyptian pound is inflated by 10x. Every Egyptian's life is literally 10 times worse than their grandparents or their parents before them. It's that bad. Yeah, it's only getting worse. The only people they treat worse than their enemies are their friends, quote unquote. Want another example? Look at India. India's really cozying up to them right now for the past decade. Has the life of the average Indian gotten better? No, it's gotten worse. Indian farmers are still committing suicide. Poverty continues to rise. And there's so many examples. But you know what the best example is? It's America. America's been fighting their wars for the past 120 years. And after World War II, yeah, we fought that war for them. The height of America was in the 40s and 50s. And you could say, hey, the 90s, you know, that was great, kind of. Since then, it's been a cascade down. America has only gotten poorer and poorer as we get to Pax Judaica, Greater Israel. If Nigeria splits up into two, you think the southwest of Nigeria is going to be a burgeoning economy, and everyone's going to be rich, and you're going to be laughing at those Fulani herdsmen in the north, you primitive Muslims. The south of Nigeria will literally become an open-air slave den, just like Libya, which the Jews never control after they got America to do their dirty work. And they're going to do the same in Nigeria. They will have you in the north fighting it out for the next 30 years. Civil war. All your resources will go to war. All the lives of your young boys will go to war. There will be checkpoints on the roads. The economy will not blow up. No, and everyone gets rich. Oh no, it's not going to be that way. Your economy is literally going to cascade into the gutter. Yeah, Tinubu, he's a clown. Buhari, he was a clown. I admit, the Muslim leadership of Nigeria failed completely. But I promise you, that'll be heaven compared to what's coming if you let these invaders in. Anyone with moderate knowledge about history knows this is true. You will see.
All right. Now, let us say something about it. He started by telling you that he's warning you that you think that splitting of Nigeria into two will make you richer. That if you align yourself to Jews, that is Israel, that Israel have history of, manipulating any country that comes to them and use them to their own advantage, that you will get more poorer, you get more worse than whatever. That he says there's some example that he's going to give, and one is Egypt, second by India, then the worst is even America. And the way he smile saying those things, you can see pain. He understands, because what they don't like is you thinking outside the box, like I told you. The moment they notice that you can think outside the box, it's an issue. You are talking about, that's why I hate this kind of people. I hate their manners and their behavior, because they don't care about your life. You are talking about economy and getting rich. We are telling you, people are living in IDP camp under Islamic. And you are here talking about what life will become when you align with Israel and America, the West. Oh, you want people should hate the West. Now, you talked about the poverty. What about Palestinians? The Islamic Arab world, everybody is sending donation to them. You guys are not even using that donation to better the life of those who claim they are fighting Israel for, but they are using that to buy equipment and train them to how to, carry out terror acts. And the lives we are talking about, the poor between Nigeria today and Egypt, who do you think have a better life? At least they have constant power supply, they have medical care. Nigerians are looking for a visa to go to Egypt as we speak. Who is in control of Nigeria? Arabs. Do you understand? Because if Britain is an Arabic country already, although they're not actually in control, because you guys have taken the military away from them, you've taken the resources, everything away. Do you understand? So when you talk about the economy and everything, look at Iran, Syria, look at Yemen. Are they better country? Are the Israelis, are they the one in charge of those areas? Who is in charge of those areas? Lebanon. These are countries that are actually struggling. Apart of few, caliphate or emirates, that you guys have, nothing more. And those ones is because the king is there playing his role to expand, the conquest. And we're here talking about what life will come when you have to be alive to talk about the economy. You understand? Mention one country in this world that life is more worst than living in Benue State as we speak. The Igbo people are the problem you guys have there, and that's not the fact. And no matter how you want to twist it, I have seen some Yorubas on Twitter, on X Space, making some comment that is laughable. One said yesterday, I don't want to bring it and just to write on it, as a separate video because it doesn't worth it. It's kind of out of his ignorance. A Yoruba guy made a post and said that, Alan Oyema claimed that the Igbo that they are not making more money, flight going to east than other parts, something like that, where he's trying to defend the excess charges, excess fee they are collecting now, from passengers, business cabinets within Nigeria, that they are not making any money. He's comparing that with flight in America, in Europe, and the Western world. He forgot the economy of those countries. He forgot the minimum wage of those countries, but he focused on I don't want to talk about Alan, but these are criminals who don't understand, what it means to build a society. Now, Yoruba guy want to respond to that, and he said that Igbos don't have, buying power. Like if you establish business in Igbo land, that you are not gonna sell more to compare what you are gonna sell in other parts. But let me tell you the reason. The reason is because Igbos that live outside Igbo land outnumber those in at home. By the time they move home, which people are saying you should come home, by the time they move home, you understand what I'm talking about. That buying power you're talking about is there. Those who are selling and buying them are buying items there outside Igbo land are actually Igbos though. If I ask you now, within Nigeria now, you hardly see a family without somebody, one or two persons that own a car in Igbo land. I'm not saying that they're gonna have a family car, but at least one or two. Just check your village. Go through your village now. You can see that if I ask you to count number of families or people's homes or houses that own a car, at least one of their brother, their father, their cousin own a car, you will see. But you can't say that in the north. You can't say that in the north. That's not the fact. So when Christmas season like this, go to Kaduna, it will be very, very, very empty. Go to Abuja. When people go back for Christmas from Lagos, everywhere is totally empty, dry, 100%. But after New Year, they'll move back. Because there's this craziness in our brain that you cannot make it inside this, we're going to make it in outside, which is a lie. The thing is that every to start up something is always difficult. This is a practice that Igbos have been doing for more than 5 decades. Okay, or let me say more than a decade. All right, more than a decade, because they believe that going outside Igbo land and do this and this will help them to make money and all that. You do understand? So if you want to change it now, it will be a gradual process, step by step, which Yoruba government, Lagos government is actually helping Igbos on that by forcing them and showing them now what the reason why you must not invest in Lagos, why you must not even, only a fool will see what is going on and start looking for how to own a house and build house in Lagos as we speak. Today is Lagos. It's gonna spread to across other parts. Don't get it twisted. If you know, you know. And I'm not gonna tell you more about it. You see, I saw a video that if I have time, I will write. Somebody posted a video on our WhatsApp group that I may even write on it because this is something that people need to see. You are not going to lose only your properties and your businesses. You end up losing your life, and it has started. Gradual process. Everybody is going to collect. I'm not wishing anybody bad, but I'm telling you what the system, the country hold for you. So when you see a foreigner like this, he's just showing his grievances. These are people that are anticipating to conquer Nigeria with full force. And he's now preaching to you because they have used force and all these things. They find that man is not even going anywhere. That's a video that was, that I shared in the past. I think that was last year, if I'm not mistaken. One guy that came on a Twitter space when those who believe in one Nigeria are actually having a conversation on how to better the country and all that. Somebody like this that speak with the phone, like an Americana, jumped in there and started saying that Igbos, you guys think you can do this, you guys cannot even lift up a shit. That all this you guys are doing is nothing. As he was saying that when you pay attention, you understand he passes the message that globally they all believe that Nigeria is there for take and is going to conquer, and the Igbos cannot even do anything. So the power that fighting even every leader and all that status is not just Fulanis, it is a global issue. And the Christians outside the world, outside Africa, okay, like Westerners, are still playing politics on that, seeing their Christian brother going through hell. If you see how other countries are some of you that live in a Muslim country, you can testify what I'm saying. If you go to shopping mall, you see they will put a post, free donation, money going to Palestine. They are donating it freely. Many countries are doing that, supporting them against Israel, supporting them they will tell the people that this money is to feed the hungry. You see some of them that are even doing the advertisement on social media. You have to feed the hungry, you have to buy water for the hungry. The money is actually not for food, it is for equipment. And if you know, you know. Imagine somebody like this, a Muslim person, talking down on Israel and Egypt and India simply because they form an alliance with Israel because you are talking about poverty. That's what your religion is known for. Few people will be very, very stinkly rich. Very, 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 very rich. Then the rest will be poor, begging. That's why in Nigeria today, an average northern politician is extremely rich. But in his community, they have a lot of babiana. That is what we don't want to see. I don't want to see people begging personally. I don't like it. It doesn't matter your religion, but that's it to them. It is normal. Anyway, let me know what you think about what he said. Do you agree or disagree? Thank you so much. I'll see you again. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. God bless you.